Holistic Mental Health and Reiki Practitioner. And with me here is Fiona. Fiona, would you like to say a bit about you?
Yes, I'm a Reiki Master Practitioner for people and animals, and I teach Reiki shares and Reiki courses as well, and art energy courses.
Yeah, and today we decided that we're going to talk a bit about how Reiki works. I mean, how we've used Reiki in different circumstances.
Yes.
So Fiona, for you, what are the certain places that you have used Reiki, and how do you think that it works in terms of like the actual background of Reiki?
We had this question, didn't we? That how is Reiki used? When do you use Reiki? When would I want Reiki?
Yeah.
And I think it's nice to mention first of all why people come to my practice. I either practice from home or from a beautiful place called the Lodge Space, and this is a place where people would naturally go to for yoga and overall well-being, and then they kind of learn about Reiki, well, they kind of see what's on offer. So sometimes people have no idea what Reiki is, but they're kind of looking and they find it, and they kind of see generally, it says about balancing your well-being and your health, and they just know that they just feel a little bit low, maybe they've lost a bit of direction. So a lot of people come just from that sort of curiosity and to see if it's another tool to help them just to find their way. Other people maybe have heard about it in other ways and researched. And of course, there are people who have maybe experiencing quite serious health issues, and they might be coming to see me to actually help to alleviate this mentally or physically. So really, the people that come to see me, it might be for, and I think you found this as well, maybe it's a loss of direction, feeling low, maybe it's like depressed. They might be feeling like they're coping on the outside with their lives, but on the inside they feel like they're just running all the time. They might have lost direction, or they just need a real boost, like they can feel that everything's getting a bit heavy for them and they want to be lifted out. Or it might be particular issues like with work, especially where we are. There's lots of people working in the city, they just don't know quite where their path is. They've lost themselves, and they want help to know either how to do their job better or to stand up to people at work, to find their voice, their confidence. Then you get also lots of people with physical elements, especially digestive, fertility, boost, and they know that they want to boost their immunity and energy. And also, as I say, which we can talk about in a bit, about the physical, real kind of physical issues that they might be going through, and illnesses. I do get quite a few patients that have a cancer and want to help mentally to understand what's going on and feel peace, and it's quite dramatic going into the hospitals.
Yeah, basically it's quite an overarching kind of, where people have lots of different issues or things, and then they come to you with those, and then they want, I mean, is it like a kind of calming down that they're expecting, or what is it that someone who comes to you for the first time and has never done Reiki, what's the usual things that are going through their mind about Reiki?
I always ask them, it's so important when somebody comes to you first of all to sit and talk. I think that's so important for the first part as well. Find out what's going on, what they want to share, and through these conversations, again, it's split between people who've never done it before, not too sure what to expect, maybe slightly nervous, slightly excited, but they just know they want to leave feeling better. And other people that might have done maybe one a long time ago and realized that it really helped them, and they've been doing a great job of going through life, but now they need that boost to the energy. They understand that afterwards they will feel better energy, more focus, more light, more brighter, more confident in themselves, and a good overall general well-being, so they can go out and feel good and do better what they were doing before, or more strongly what they were doing before. And then at the end, obviously a whole lot more was experienced than they had, they bargained for. They'd realised deeper things were unearthed in a positive way. Nobody ever comes out going, oh, I feel worse than I did before. No. It's always like,
I've never had that. It's usually, it's always usually quite positive towards the end.
Yes. And one thing actually that does come up, the feeling in the Reiki still activates for the next good few days and gets stronger. And it's really good to be quite nurturing with yourself afterwards. Obviously, either drinking the water, the rest where possible, or not overdoing it.
Yeah.
And the feeling of the Reiki, but also the memory of how they felt and what they could be doing to help themselves. Reiki is about self-empowerment. And I feel that we're helping to really raise their vibrational energy, but it's empowerment, recognition of themselves again, so they can go on and start doing those changes they recognize from the treatment that they need to do. So it's a lifelong change. And I think with maybe some modern medicine, it can be we're going to to try and cure it.
Yeah.
And Reiki again is going to the cause and really changing things. So if somebody has a fundamental change for life, not just for a little quick fix.
Yeah, I really love that you said that, because I think that's so true, that I've also found with people that I worked with that they might come for specific symptoms, which is what we sometimes do when we go for like medical treatments. We want to go for a symptom, especially with digestive issues or something, but then you realize that there are things deeper down, and that comes up when you're connected to your body. And I think that's where a lot of people who might come with anxiety issues as well, and like you were saying, if there's a lot of confusion going on in their minds about, you know, which way direction to go, and then somehow just connecting back to the body through this Reiki process, I've seen that has a transformative experience, which is then showing to them that there are lots of layers that they can work on, and it's not just that specific symptom that a lot of times we focus so much energy on. For instance, I mean, of course, when you have like IBS or something really strong, it does take up so much mind space and energy, but we also realize that there are underlying things that you can work on and fix so that those symptoms don't keep showing up.
Yeah. And that's why I think when people come to see us, you can come for one session, and when it's overall general well-being, it can really boost them and help them to go, yeah, okay, I feel myself more, I'm going to go back and I find my voice a bit more, I find my confidence, and yes, I am going to do this extra bits to help myself. But often I find that three sessions are the best one. Often the first one is kind of getting through, because there's often a big wall that people have put themselves around. Even if they seem very happy and positive on the inside, on the outside they've had this protective wall, and present, and usually very useful, to be able to do all those things and all those responsibilities that they've needed to do. They've made this wall, but they haven't broken down the wall to allow them to be themselves and remember who they are, to take those pauses and breaths. So the first one is raising the energy up, because Reiki can really help to raise the energy. Not that you're running around a field kind of energy, but it's like what I describe to people. It's like this river of energy going around the body. And with all the stresses, pollutions, just general life, the energy starts to slow down. And what we're doing is through the channeling, the person's spirit energy can recognize this and kind of reactivate, recharge. And that's on one level. So the energy can start to then increase their health mentally and physically, as well as the channeling energy changing aspects of the actual physical body as well. So the first one is really about reconnecting again, that person refinding themselves and reconnecting, recognizing their spirit. To come back again is to then go deeper and really identify where the issues are, and do deep work on the throat or in past work. And because often there's fascia, there's some kind of memory that goes around every part of the body, and it can retain memory. And especially when there's been trauma, this trauma can be remembered in the body, and it's using the energy to help release that, and that can take a couple. Just one other thing I was going to say about this was that when people say how often, traditionally when people go to Reiki, especially in the East, they would go connected days, like several days, usually up to 5 days, and it's like a wave of energy hitting until the issues have gone. And here we tend to turn up for one, want to see an outcome, and that's it. And sometimes one is enough. But really, this is why the chat before is so important. Discuss what needs to be done, what the person wants the outcome for. Let's work together to make it happen. And usually I find it's the magic 3 that works, and then they're in charge of themselves again.
And I like that you said that we have to work together, because it's not like us, the practitioner, healing or working with the person just, you know, separated from themselves, but it's very much a together process because you're working with the energy of the person, and
Yes.
it's the practitioner who's sort of channeling that Reiki energy into them, and then you work together to come to that outcome, which is beautiful. I mean, I find that connection really quite amazing.
Yeah, and a post chat is really important as well. One, because usually when people are in the Reiki, they're very deep, and you can't just suddenly sit up and go. They've been often out of spirit. What I mean by that is they felt like they've been in a different place. Sometimes I do feel that there's been some astral traveling, some lifting out of the body. In other cases, they've been in the body, but just in a deep kind of almost like a hypnosis state, very, very relaxed. And obviously, you can ask questions, they can ask questions anytime they want, but they've allowed themselves to be really peaceful and really still. And sometimes people say, I've got a busy mind, but they're working things through, and then it just goes and they're peaceful for the rest of the session. Other times people just go, they're out. And sometimes sleeping, and it's like a really massive long holiday in 1 hour. But at the end, it's about giving somebody time to come to and recognize everything they've been feeling, and often say there can be tears and release, and other times they just recognize all the things that they wanted to do, remembering. But on a physical plane, symptoms can be alleviated as well. Especially with menstrual problems, often period pains can be really calmed down, cycles can be put in the right place. As you said about the IBS, can really help to alleviate that. I find that different Reiki practitioners seem to be good with different things. I like bones and teeth. I often find that I can really help people that have had quite difficult, pesky wisdom teeth and issues with teeth, and it can begin to get quite intense and then dissipates, and then they don't have it again.
Yeah, I think for me also, I think for me, I've worked with a lot of people who, for some reason, come to me for digestive issues. Like, that's one thing, and then realize that it actually related to anxiety and other issues that are underneath that. But then also, also I think it's also just about general wanting to calm themselves and be all over the place, and then realize that maybe they're not really in touch with their body or in tune with what's happening to themselves, and suddenly there's that feeling of, oh yeah, now we know what we need to look at least, because sometimes there can just be a generalized anxiety and you don't know where that's coming from, and then having worked through certain layers, and you know, okay, this is what I need to first work on, and then, you know, that kind of thing.
And also talking about, of which why a pre-talk is so important, because also we're working with the medical profession, it's in conjunction, and Reiki can be amazing for really alleviating, for helping, for even doing some kind of chemical changes in the body. So it's always good to know if somebody's on medication, so that they can tell their doctor they're having Reiki as well. So it's like in partnership, and it's never about stopping medication, but always checking with the doctor, because what might happen, they might start to need less medication as the Reiki improves, and seeing that balance. And it might be that somebody else needs other support in other ways. So like again, where I work, if I know that somebody needs more talk therapy, or whether they need more breath work, or actually whether they you know, in conjunction they might need to go and see a counsellor, it would be really helpful. It's saying, it's advising these might be a good idea. It's never about telling anybody, but saying, like, from this, you know, obviously recommending healthy lifestyles, but saying, you know, this might be worth talking. It might be worth talking to your GP as well. And and that's why it'd be amazing if we could really see one day that the more holistic therapies are used in conjunction, so symbiotically. So GPs can easily refer to help to send somebody to a Reiki practitioner to help tweak mentally, physically, or even start to maybe to help to alleviate issues that might not even need drugs. But equally, we can then refer if we feel that person needs additional help medically in different ways. And I think that's really important. It is never a substitute.
Yeah, definitely. I think, and I do know that some of the NHS areas here, I mean, some of the GP practices, they do have like kind of Reiki treatments alongside, or they would be able to say that you can, you know, they refer you to Reiki and other holistic practices, which is really nice. I think it's a slow process of coming into the medical practices, but I think it is happening slowly now around the world. where doctors are recognizing the importance of other holistic therapies to go along with what they're saying, so that you're never,
Yes.
like you're saying, you never stop medication, or you never just take your own call about, okay, medication's not right. You work with your doctor, but then also with whoever you're working holistically.
Yes. And as talking about medical, which I touched on earlier, is about patients that come to see me that are experiencing cancer, maybe going through treatment, and it would you can never say that a disease or anything can be cured. It is the body of the person that is allowing the healing, but often it can be through mental acceptance as well. So when these people have come to see me, the people in the hospitals they've experienced being friendly and supportive, but it is traumatic. They've had their life and suddenly everything's been turned upside down.
Yeah.
And they're having to go and experience being in the hospital, the scary treatment, well, not scary treatment, the treatment which they don't know what's going to happen, although things are explained. It's an invasion, isn't it? And however much you dress it up, it's something they don't really want to be there for. And also they don't know what the outcome's in, so they need to have the mental aspects. So they come, and just having that 1 hour out, because an hour is good for this, an hour where they don't have to think of anything, feel really peaceful. But and kind of every time I found that people have had more acceptance. And when they feel more accepting, it helps their family to feel better as well, because they can see that their loved one is accepting and understanding the process more. It also helps to build up the confidence for going into hospital. So I had a lady who felt far more confident. She'd do the Reiki the day before, feel more confidence, and then she'd go into the hospital and feel like she was able to cope. And we helped to give her little tips and tricks to help to do that when she was going through the radiology. And understanding how it was working with her body. But also there's been amazing studies in St George's Hospital in Tooting, London, over, I think, minimum of 8 years, where they've had volunteer Reiki practitioners going in and working on the high dependency units and cancer wards, and just helping the patients, say again, find acceptance, understanding patients, but actually in some areas finding so much peace, it's actually helping with the body to stabilize as well.
Yeah.
And there's a lady called Angie Buxton King who set up a charity called the Sam Buxton Charity, because her son had, unfortunately, when he was young, died of leukemia. When they got this terrible news that he had this disease, he was given 3 months, but he ended up beautifully living for 3 years. And she said that she really saw that the healing practices really have a quality of life much longer. So what she does now, she trains Reiki Master Practitioners to go into hospitals to work alongside the medical profession. And I was very blessed to attend one of these courses, and it really is showing that there is a place for Reiki practitioners, but it's understanding the different needs. Like the short amount of time, that you're allowed there, you're working symbiotically, the hygiene, the supporting the friends and the family. It's really about being a part of the team. And it's worked so well that often the hospitals have kept the practitioners on after a year's trial. So I love these studies. So if anybody's interested, she's written an amazing book, which I've just got here if anybody wants to see it. And you can go to her website called the Sam Buxton Sunflower Healing Trust, and there's wonderful videos on there. You can, if you're interested in this subject. So it's all about studies, research,
and there's other research groups where they work with like placebo groups and Reiki practitioner groups alongside, and then see that there has been a difference when a Reiki practitioner shares the energy, I mean, as compared to the placebo group. And then there are lots of studies that are there online to show that even though they're smaller studies, so they haven't been shared that much with the scientific community, but it is interesting. So if anyone wants to go and read up, there's lots online.
Yes, and the other, sorry about the internet connection, it's very weak today. But yes, you're right with these placebo effects as well, but they could still feel there's this energy that they can study. coming from Reiki practitioners, which seem to be, you know, obviously way more stronger, and they're actually changing like a molecular makeup of bones. And I've seen it. I've seen that these profound effects when people say, actually, I don't have my period pains anymore. Yes, my IBS has alleviated, but and my toothache's gone, and yes, I do feel brighter. I do stronger. But there's an important thing here as well, that the coming to see me and the talking, and for them to their own body to start reactivating and healing, because it's self-healing. Also, it's again, it's never to be seen as a product, a treatment. Reiki is a spiritual part. It's really understanding themselves and going,
right,
do actually, I realize that maybe I need to do this to help myself well. Yes, there's something else I was going to say, but I shall think about that.
Yeah, I think so.
Yes,
This was nice for this week. We can get into more of these details, because it's fascinating, I think, to see how it actually works, how it's being put to use in community levels, and it's making so much of a difference. So we can talk about that maybe next week again.
Oh, I remember what it was. The UK Reiki Federation. If you go to their website, like the biggest federation for Reiki in the UK, and they have information on their website about the scientific research that's going on.
Yes.
And within the UK Reiki Federation, they have an education department, they have a scientific department, and it's always about, we love learning, we love investigating, but I think the proof is really, the best proof is seeing the clients that we have, and what their feedback and their testimonials, and they're saying it, they're saying, actually, you made a difference, or I feel a difference afterwards, and I've not just felt a difference for that time, it kept on being a difference. And Reiki's, and the more people that study Reiki, the more people that share Reiki, the better it is. It's sharing this ancient understanding of healing through not just touch, but close proximity. Yes, but it's we can talk more about our own experiences each week, and if anybody wants to share their experiences of how Reiki helps them.
Yeah, it would be lovely to get some more questions or share experiences of either being a Reiki practitioner themselves, or having had it, or heard stories from other people who've had it. That would be really nice to hear as well. Okay, this is lovely.
Find a way for the people maybe to share their stories.
Yeah, that would be nice. And let's meet again next week and chat some more.
Yeah, that would be wonderful. Yes, and we can so maybe go in this more depth. But we always like chatting about energy, so we'll just tune in, and yes, we can talk about other things in more depth.
Okay, bye.
Thank you. Lovely to see you again. Blessings of health to everybody this week.
Yes.
And I know there's lots of changes going on as easings coming out, but remember, everybody, just to do everything in your own time, what feels right for you.
Yes, to ease it.
Everybody's been at different. Some people want to record. Yeah, some people want to do things slowly. It's only just your own instinct of what you need to do and when you need to do it. It's stand in your own truth.
Yes, I like that. Okay.
Lots of love to you. Okay, bye.